that are out there joining me as you come in. Please let me know, where you are, who you are, and so we can have a conversation. Those of you that are watching this on replay, you are certainly welcome to put in your questions, put in your comments, and let me know where you're joining in from during your replay. So, before we begin, I just want to remind people that we do have a newsletter. And if you are interested in subscribing to the Steps newsletter, this is the URL bit.ly/steps140. And you will be put on the list for a monthly newsletter. Now, I don't spam you. I don't sell your information to anyone. I'm just trying to make sure that you're up to date on some of the information that's out there for college-bound students and for their families. So again, if you're interested in the newsletter, and one will be coming out soon, actually, hopefully this weekend it'll be coming out. So that's how you subscribe to the Steps newsletter. And I would love for you to do that. Also, all of my videos are, if you can't find them on Facebook, or if you have friends that aren't on Facebook and they do want to see some of the videos, some of the back videos, please go to my YouTube channel, bit.ly/stepscc. And I would love if you subscribe to my YouTube channel. I'm trying to build up my numbers and get things out there. So please do that if you get a chance. And last but not least, if you'd love to get in touch with me in order to have a conversation, to see if you're interested in college and career counseling for your child or maybe for your young adult, please reach out to me here at this email, and we can set something up and get the conversation started. Now, one of the things that I always do with my students, and I have to give thanks to Ethan Sawyer for this. Ethan Sawyer, for people that know him, is known as the college essay guy. And Ethan has this really cool vibe about him. And one of the things I like is he always asks these great questions at the beginning of a meeting. So, modeling some of what I've seen Ethan do, I always ask my students, what are you grateful for today? And how are you practicing self-care? So I want you to just take, a couple of seconds while we're getting into this to think about, what are you grateful for today? I know for me, I'm always grateful for my warm bed. I love my bed. Folks that know me know that I love taking naps. So I'm super grateful for my bed today. And how are you practicing self-care? Now, when we talk about self-care, practicing, I don't even know if practicing is the right word. How does self-care show up in your life? What are you doing for you? I know for me, I have gotten back into intentional exercise. You know how we say, yeah, I'm going to work out, or yeah, maybe I'll walk tomorrow, what have you. So I've become very intentional about my exercise. So at least 6 days a week, I'm doing something. Twice a week, I'm doing strength training at the fitness center, at the fitness studio downtown. And on the other days, I'm walking. Some days I walk with my cousin Angela, and we go on the Cape Fear River Trail, and we do 4 miles. Other days, I may walk around my subdivision. Sometimes we may be walking in downtown Fayetteville. It just all depends. But every day doing some kind of movement, we firmly believe motion is the lotion. So you got to get up and move and keep those joints in shape. So again, think about this every day and have this conversation with your friends, with your family, with your students. Ask them, what are you grateful for today? And how are you practicing self-care? How is self-care showing up in your life? What are you doing for yourself physically, mentally, spiritually? But every day we should be doing something for ourselves. So as we get ready to move into tonight's little talk, I really want to talk a little bit about some of the things that are going on with admission notifications and what students should be doing as we're going through those. But then I also want to talk about the Science of Well-Being, this new course that is being presented by Professor Laurie Santos for students. And then I want to end with giving you information about a webinar that is actually tomorrow night. So you got to listen to this tonight, or if you're listening to it on replay tomorrow, you got to make sure you jump on there and register. But it's a webinar that's being presented from Federal Student Aid, all about the guide to the FAFSA, which is the free application for federal student aid. And that's a financial aid document that you want to be familiar with. So I really strongly encourage you to, if you get the chance, register for it, even if you can't go. But we'll talk a little bit more about that as we come back on the other side. And I can't wait to have this conversation with you. So, hey folks, I am back. So again, for those of you that are just joining in, I would love for you to just tell me what you are grateful for today and how you are practicing self-care. And you can certainly throw that in the chat and let me know as we go along. Now, one of the things I wanted to talk to you about, so we're in a place now in the college admissions journey where students are starting to receive decisions from their colleges where they applied either early decision or early action. And results are kind of all over the place. So there are some students that are super thrilled with what they've heard. There are other students that are feeling like, wow, what else could I have done? I've done everything possible. And then there are some students that are like, what's going on here? So let's talk a little bit about, that. And we're not going to go into deep detail, but I really want families to be aware of this process and also where they can find information for for one of these options. So typically when students apply to colleges and they get admission decisions back, it could be one of four offers. It could be accept, it could be defer, it could be waitlist, or it can be deny. Most colleges do all four, some just do three. It all depends. So that's where your research comes in. So if a student applies to a school and they've been accepted, yes, great news, love it. Heard from one of my students last night. He's received an appointment to the United States Air Force Academy. I am so thrilled for him because he has worked really hard to get this. Another one of my students on the same day received notifications that he was accepted into NC State and UNC Chapel Hill. So I am thrilled for those students. Now, what happens when you're accepted to college? Do you, that's it? You just wait until it's time to go? No, there are a few more things that students need to be doing. So if you have been accepted to college, remember, especially early action, you have until May 1st to make a decision. Well, I shouldn't say you shouldn't wait right up until May 1st. You should make your decision hopefully sometime in April. But your enrollment deposit is due by May 1st. So keep that date in mind. So if you've been accepted and now you have to make decisions between your acceptances, and you may not have heard from all your schools yet, but if you have to make that, you can only go to one, guys, one at a time. So you've got to figure out which one am I going to go to. Every college will hold an accepted students day, or an admitted students day, or whatever name they may give it. I strongly recommend that if you're able to, that you go to the admitted students day. This is an opportunity for students to see the college and through a different lens. Now you're on that campus as an admitted student. What many of the colleges try to do is they try to set up your schedule so that you get to talk to professors or perhaps students from the program that you want to major in. If you haven't chosen a major and you're undecided, they're going to make sure that you see all different types of aspects of the college. So you'll hear about the academic aspects. You'll get to really look at housing and the dining centers and hear more about the clubs and activities. You'll meet other students that have also been admitted. So this is a great thing to do if you have the opportunity to do so. The other thing I strongly recommend for all students that have been accepted to a college is to join their social media for the accepted student or admitted students. So once acceptances start going out, groups start popping up on social media for students that were accepted or admitted to that school, that doesn't mean you've committed to that school. It just means that you've been admitted. So you still have time to decide what college you want to attend. Now, what's nice about these particular groups is now you'll get to meet other students. You'll get to see if there are students from your state, from your neighborhood, students from across the country, maybe students that live in other countries. So it's really a good idea to jump onto this and get that information. So the next thing, if students, one of the other admission notifications that could come to a student is defer. Now, what defer means is that the college has decided, it's not a no. The college has decided that they really want to wait until they see who's going to be in their pool of regular decision students and make a decision on your application at that time. So your application is moved from the early action pool or the early pool to the regular decision pool. Now, as far as when you'll hear back, you need to check that information for each school. For example, North Carolina State University, if students were deferred and put into the regular decision pool, what they're asking them to do is to submit what's called the final review consideration form and their senior grades. Again, for North Carolina State University, they're asking students to submit the final review consideration form and their senior grades. Nothing more. Do not ask people to write additional recommendation letters for you. Do not send in special projects. Do not send in videos. Just send in what they're asking for. So any school that you apply to in which you received a deferral, please carefully read the instructions and do exactly what they ask you to do. No more, no less. For example, like I said, North Carolina State is asking for that information. Now, waitlist. Waitlist is one of those things that I'm not a fan of at all. It's almost like I wish they would just tell students no, instead of stringing them along. So waitlist is where colleges they may go to their waitlist pool if they still have openings. Now, that means they're going to wait to see who says, yes, I'm coming to your school, who pays the enrollment deposit. So again, a lot of that won't happen until the first week of May. So they won't know who's coming to their school. They won't have their enrollment numbers. Then if they decide they need more students, they may or may not go to the wait list. It's really important to understand that the wait list, not a lot of students come off the wait list. So if you were waitlisted, I strongly recommend that what you do is look at the other colleges that you were accepted to. Do your research so that you can decide, okay, if I had to pick from the colleges to which I was accepted, where do I see myself for the next 4 years? You need to be prepared to pay an enrollment deposit at a school prior to May 1st. Please do not wait to hear to see whether or not you get off the wait list. That may not happen until the summer. That may not happen until June or July. In the meantime, you may have lost on a spot to another school. So I was talking with the parent the other day, and one of the things they asked is, how many students come off the wait list? And it varies year to year, school to school. So I just wanted to share this screen with you really quick. So this is the common data set for 2021 for UNC Chapel Hill. And if you go to the section C that says first time, first year freshman admission, and you go down to C2, it gives you some historical data on their what they've done about waitlist in the past. So let's look at this. So they said, so for the fall of 2021 admissions, and these common data sets are always, a year or so behind because, this information has to come in. They don't know who their what their enrollment's going to be like for this incoming class of freshmen. But anyway, you can go back and you can look at multiple years, but Here's the latest one. So they offered, this is for UNC Chapel Hill again now. They offered 8,957 students. Let me move this off so we can see this. Yes, there we go. They offered 8,957 students a place on the waiting list. If you're offered a place on the waiting list, you have to opt in to the waiting list. You can't just assume because they said yes, you're on the wait list, that they know you want to stay on there. So you have to opt in. So again, almost 9,000 students at UNC Chapel Hill for the fall of 2021 were offered a place on the waiting list. A little over 6,500 students asked to be placed on that waiting list. So they did whatever the instructions told them to do to let the admissions folks at UNC Chapel Hill know that they were still interested in attending their school. Here's the kicker. Out of that almost 6,500 students, 647 from that wait list were admitted. Now, I strongly encourage you to look at this section of the common data set for different schools where you may have been waitlisted, and to also look at prior years, because you'll see that the numbers aren't the same all the time. Actually, I think, the prior year to this, but Chapel Hill, they actually had less students that they took off the wait list. So again, that's something. So write that down, take a screenshot so you know what it is, where you're looking for. But this one is in particular for UNC Chapel Hill. Most of the colleges will have information in their common data set. So again, this is where you would look. And there's other information in there. So it's letting you know over here how many applied, who was admitted, who enrolled. And so that, again, gives you some great information to look at that. And this is always in section C of the common data set, which is first year freshman admission. So again, that's something I want you to really be thinking about as you're trying to make a decision, because I don't want you to get so hung up in, well, there's still a chance. The chance is like slim to none. It really is. And I'm not trying to be a Debbie Downer to make people feel bad. I just want you to be realistic so that you can grieve for not getting the decision that you wanted to get and then move on. Because in the meantime, you still will have to make a decision. And I don't want students to be hoping that they're going to come off the wait list when 9 times out of 10, probably 10 times out of 10, it's slim to none. So again, think about that. Now, at the beginning, I talked about, what do you do for self-care? What are you doing to keep yourself physically, mentally, spiritually grounded? So one of the things that's coming up that I really encourage students to try out, and for parents to help them with this. So Professor Laurie Santos, who is at Yale and who has probably one of the most popular courses at Yale, it's, the happiness course, and she also has a podcast about it, is offering a course on Coursera for teens. So let's see if I can get this information up here so that you can see it. It's the Science of Well-Being for Teens. If you have the opportunity to take this, and you can take it free if you want to get the certificate and to get access to the graded quizzes and what have you. I think it's a $49 fee. It's 12 weeks, but it is self-paced, so maybe you could do it faster. And here's the information. It's flexible deadlines. You start according to when it's great for you to start. You can get a shareable certificate. And by shareable, if you're like me and you're on LinkedIn, you want to let people know that you're working on learning more about yourself and helping yourself and doing professional development, or just learning things. You could share it on your social media. It's 100% online, and you do it at your own schedule. It is at the beginner level. And what's really nice about Coursera and some of the other MOOCs, which are massive online course, massive open online courses. Tells you what level they are. Tells you it takes approximately 12 hours to complete, and it tells you it's in English. Now, what I really like too, when you go to the syllabus over here, and I'm going to put this on full screen so that you can see it. So it tells you week 1 is about misconceptions about happiness. It says in this module, you will learn what it means to be happy and why pursuing happiness is not a pointless endeavor. Dr. Santos addresses how our minds lie to us and how the science shows that our misconceptions about money, grades, and social media are holding us back from implementing the techniques studied in positive psychology. There are 9 videos, total of 45 minutes, 3 readings, and 1 quiz. So what I really love, again, is how this is set up, where it's telling you exactly what you're going to be learning, how much time it's going to take. So week 2, it's about biases that get in the way of happiness. So in this module, you'll learn about biases that get in the way of our own happiness. Dr. Lori Santos explores why we get used to good and bad things in life and how we can deal with growing accustomed to things and making bad predictions about what we will want in the future. She also discusses how we compare ourselves to others, using reference points, and what we can do to deal with our limited attention. So that's week 2. Week 3, behaviors that make us happy. Again, 2 hours. In this module, you'll learn about behaviors that make us happy. So think about it. What makes you happy? How you're engaging in different social behaviors, finding time to do the things you love, like me, exercising and strength training, and practicing healthy habits. She also explains how a little bit of extra sleep each night or exercise can make a world of difference. And the last week is thoughts that make us happy. So in this module, you'll learn about thought patterns that lead to better mood. She addresses the power of focusing your thoughts and developing the right mindset in order to experience gratitude. Yes, remember that first question, what are you grateful for? So experiencing gratitude, practicing mindfulness, and getting some perspective. And again, each week it tells you how much time it's going to take you and what's there. And you can read a little bit more about Dr. Lori Santos down below. But again, this is the science of well-being for teens. So I strongly suggest do that because, you can do it at your own pace. You can adjust the times to meet your schedule as far as taking the course. So please take time to do that. Hey, for those of you, again, who are just joining in, I'm Dr. Belinda Wilkerson. I am the owner of Steps to the Future, which is a college and career counseling service. My background is I'm a former high school counselor. I shouldn't say former because I'm still doing high school counseling. I was a teacher, middle and high school, teaching social studies. I was a counselor educator. I taught at Providence College for a number of years. I used to teach people who wanted to be school counselors the career information class. So that's why I'm always talking about careers and hoping that people get chances to do some awareness, exploration, and some career development. So for those of you on replay, I'd love for you to let me know where you are, what you took from this, what's helping you out. So we just went over the science of well-being that Dr. Lori Santos from Yale University has going on right now for students. It's available on Coursera. So please make sure you check that out. Now, our next thing that I want to talk to you about, my goodness, probably one of the things that I wish more people paid attention to at the beginning of the college search is the affordability piece. Getting yourself familiar with the financial aid documents that are required if you're applying to college, the affordability, using things like the net price calculator and other tools that will help you learn about what you may be paying as a family for college. So coming up, the federal student aid, and this is soon. So guys, if you're listening to this tonight, wonderful. Make sure you register right after this. Those of you, if you're watching this on the replay tomorrow, I hope you watch it I hope you see it before 6 p.m. tomorrow night. So Federal Student Aid is presenting a workshop, a webinar on a parent's guide to the financial aid process. And this is something that I know I've already signed up for. So it says it will provide tips for parents when completing the FAFSA form and next steps. And it's tomorrow evening, 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. Eastern Time. I'm pretty sure that if you register for it and you can't make it, that you will get a recording. Trying to see if they have that on there. So anyway, it said it's for parents, students, and college access professionals. That you'll get some guidance and essential tips on how to prepare when it's time to complete the free application for federal student aid form. And what are some crucial steps for parents to remember once the form has been completed. Topics will include key terms like verification and tips on what parents can do to prepare for the financial aid process once the student has completed the form. And their featured speaker is going to be Thelma Ross, who is Director of Student Financial Aid at Prince George's Community College in Largo, Maryland. Again, it starts tomorrow, January 31st at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. So this is available to people across the United States, but remember to pay attention to the time zone so you don't get mixed up. And, if you're on the West Coast, you need to know that, this is 3 p.m. your time. So again, please, if you get the opportunity to do this, please do this. There's nothing more important than getting information ahead of time, learning about what it is that you have to do, think about, research in this whole college process. Because once you get information, and especially if you get good information, then you can make an informed decision that's good for your family, not who's good for your next door neighbor or your girlfriend down the street or somebody else in your church or what have you. You need to get information that's good for your family. And going to this particular webinar will help you learn a little bit more about this whole financial aid process, because it can be a little confusing, a little complex, a little kind of like crazy sometimes. So again, this is the organization, Federal Student Aid. They are the organization that puts out the FAFSA, that that revises the FAFSA, that answers all things about the FAFSA. So I really, really strongly recommend that you do this and find out a little bit more about it. Now, one of the things I want to talk about, so when I was talking about self-care, you know how people make New Year's resolutions and then, we may or may not keep them. One of my colleagues, Jim, who is Jim Peacock, who's from Peak Careers Counseling, he started doing this thing a number of years ago where instead of kind of like doing resolutions, he started picking like 3 words that he planned to use to follow as his guide for the coming year. So I've kind of like started doing what Jim's doing. So my 3 words, and you might see them on the chalkboard back there, but they're a little light. So my 3 words for 2023 is grace, play, and community. So just think about this. What 3 words do you want to guide you through 2023? I picked grace because part of what I want to do is give myself grace. I want to give other people grace. Sometimes I'm really hard on myself when I feel like I haven't accomplished what I thought I should have accomplished. So I'm giving myself a lot of grace this year. My second word, which is right up there with grace, is play. I realize that I don't play enough. I'm about working like sometimes 24/7 and not doing just fun things. So I'm playing. And one of the things I did in order to make this intention manifest is I joined a local travel group. So I am part of the LISA Trip FAFSA, and what we're doing, like the 3rd Thursday of every month, we're going to visit different sites around the state of North Carolina. Earlier, This month, we went to visit Elk River Falls. It was like so cool to go to these falls and hang out. And out of the group of 9, I only knew like 2 of the people prior to that, but now I've got all these new friends. And then community. Want to make sure that I'm getting not only expanding my community, but getting back in the community. I'm one of the people, I've been kind of slow getting back out there since COVID, which I did have over Christmas. So I had a really sucky Christmas. But I really want to get back out in the community, back into doing some of the community service things that I have been doing in the past. So again, think about what would your 3 words be for 2023. So again, I just want to go through that. This, if you're looking for more college news on a regular basis, please subscribe to the Steps newsletter. This is the URL for that. And I'd love if you subscribe to my YouTube channel so you can go and you can look at past videos where I'm interviewing people for their different careers or giving other information. And if you need to reach out to me, you can either get me, through my website, or you can always email me at drb@stepstothefuture.com. I do want to let you know who my guest is. So my first guest for 2023, I am so excited that she said yes. Was a little nervous about asking her at first, but she said yes, and I am thrilled. And let me see if I can get it up here because she is amazing, super duper amazing. So let me see if I can share my screen here with you again. Okay, here we go. So next week, my personal trainer is going to come on and talk to you about fitness and how she got into the career and why strength training is important for us and keeping our bodies moving. So this is Samantha Jones-Tao, who is a personal fitness trainer. Look at this picture first. She used to do professional bodybuilding. Now she's the owner of the fitness studio downtown. So join in with us next week. Do notice that it's a different time in order to fit it in with her schedule. We are going to be at 4:30 p.m. next Monday. So it's going to be earlier than usual. So make sure you take note of the time that next week's talk will be. Again, C3 with Dr. B with Samantha Jones-Tao. So make sure you join in. Make sure you pay attention that it's a different time, but I'll be putting it out there and letting you know. So I always like to talk about a book. I actually should have bought this other one, but I'm going to share this one. If I can get it without knocking everything down. And I think I've shared this one before, but the reason why I'm sharing this one again is because as some of you know, I'm part of the Independent Educational Consultants Association. And one of the things that we've been doing is having book discussions. So our DEI committee puts on a series of events to help our members discuss, learn, explain about different things around DEI. So this week on Thursday, we are actually having a book discussion for how to have important, brave, life-changing, courageous, it's called Courageous Discomfort, how to have important, brave, life-changing conversations about race and racism. And we will actually have one of the authors with us. Shantara McBride is going to be with us as we discuss this book. So if you would love to have a copy of this book, I would love for you if you let me know. One of the ways we do this, I always have the giveaway tool, so I don't know who's out there, but if you're out there and you're interested, what you can do is to put in the chat, well-being, and if you're out there and I do a little spin of the wheel, we'll see. But if no one puts any comments in, then I'll give away a different book another week. So again, I don't see anyone out there that's interested in getting a copy of this book. So again, I just want to thank everyone for being back here with me for 2023. I know when you take a hiatus that sometimes, it takes a while for people to come back, but I'd love for people to come back, know that I'm back, Still wanting to bring you good information about college and career, and also introduce you to different types of careers through the people that are in those particular positions. So again, this is Dr. B from Steps to the Future, and thank you so much for watching this live or watching it on the replay. And I hope to see you next Monday at 4:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Take care, everyone, and remember, always ask yourself, what are you grateful for today, and how are you practicing self-care? Take care, everyone. See you next Monday.